Okay, sealing windows. There's 3 easy steps. Number 1, you have to take the trim off. In order to get the trim off, you gradually pull it away from the wall using a wide-based lever, such as a putty knife. If you go too quickly or try to use a screwdriver, it may end up cracking or breaking the trim, so be careful. This image shows a window with the trim already removed. This homeowner found many gaps and unusual holes in the drywall hiding under the trim surrounding the windows. This is the sort of envelope issue which you will not learn about during an online home energy review. Step number 2. You have to seal up the cracks. You can use caulk or spray foam around the window frame where it has been roughed in the drywall. If there's no noticeable gap or a minimal gap, then caulk will do the trick to seal it. If there's a larger area, such as this finger hole, it may be better to use a spray foam. Be sure to buy spray foam which is specifically designed for use around windows. If you don't use the right type, you risk your window frames or window panes cracking during the warm temperature changes. Step number 3. Replace the trim. You just have to replace the trim using similar trim nails. Then you will need to set the nails with a setter, which essentially gets the head of the nail deeper than the wood surface. Buy some wood putty, make sure it's the same color as your trim, to fill in your nail holes. Now, the draft is gone and you will start saving money on your bills. According to the Department of Energy, over 60% of U.S. homes are under-insulated or not insulated at all. If your home is as little as 10 years old like mine, you will fall into this category. Many homes in our area are 20 years old or more. Insulation can start to sag behind walls. Insulation, like all building materials, is measured in R values. So the next time you have a few minutes, you should check your attic insulation. The Department of Energy recommends for our climate zone to have between R38 and R60 in the attic. This chart will help you determine what your current R value is in your attic. The recommendation from the Department of Energy jumps to R60 at the Wisconsin state line, so R38 may be too little for Naperville, considering we are located in the northern part of our climate zone. Code is R38 for new construction in Naperville. Homes built as little as 10 years ago won't meet this code, so chances are you need to add insulation. But don't worry. You can recover 30% of the materials cost through tax incentives offered by the state of Illinois if you increase your insulation level to R49 in our area. And compared to typical home improvements in Naperville, adding a little more insulation in your attic will not cost that much. After you have sealed up your home and made sure it is properly insulated, and you still want to do more, you should think about your major appliances. Regular maintenance on these appliances helps them run most efficiently. Something as simple as changing your furnace filter regularly can make a big difference on how often it needs to kick on. If the filter needs to be changed, the furnace needs to work harder to push air through it. If you think it may be time to replace your furnace, install one with at least 92% efficiency. And yes, there are tax credits for investing in energy-efficient appliances. The tax credits come off the bottom line, so it's not a deduction. If you are willing to endure a little higher upfront cost, tankless water heaters are the most fuel efficient. So finally we come to lighting. Did you know that Tesla criticized direct current and the incandescent bulb, which was embraced by GE and featured at the Chicago World Fair in the late 1800s? He criticized the bulb because of all the energy wasted through heat loss and the short lifespan of the bulb. So it took the world 100 years to finally wise up and agree with Tesla. He not only invented alternating current, but also designed the fluorescent bulb at the same time Edison designed the incandescent bulb. Long story short, you can save energy by switching your light bulbs. I admit, the energy-efficient light bulbs are not perfect yet. CFLs contain mercury, and even though the levels are safe enough for landfill, it's still a concern. Also, lights I use every day in my kitchen are on a dimmer switch, and CFLs and LEDs are potentially dangerous if used on a dimmer switch. But they are starting to come in all shapes, sizes, and colors to replace the incandescent bulbs. Either way, CFL bulbs and LED bulbs are going to save you a lot of money in the long run. And again, if you change the bulb, you won't have to be a warden at the light switch. You don't have to change your day-to-day routine in order to be energy efficient. Each year, DuPage County gets money from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development in order to provide a weatherization assistance program. This program helps fund the replacement of inefficient appliances such as water heaters and furnaces, upgrading insulation, as well as fire safety improvements. To learn more about this program, click on the Weatherization Assistance Program on www.naperville.il.us. How much money is available? The assistance program will grant up to $5,000 per household and is based on number of people in a household and household income. The income limit is up to $79,600 for a household of 8 people or more. The average Naperville family income is more than that, but if you're unemployed this year, you might qualify. What about cars? Vehicles account for 28% of Naperville's greenhouse gas emissions. That's just cars owned by people who live here. Up to 3 times that number of cars drive through Naperville every day from one end to the other. And by looking at this list, you can see that once again, buying a fuel-efficient car when your old cars had a good life is more effective than changing your day-to-day routine by carpooling. So those of you who hate carpooling with your boss or an annoying coworker don't have to do it. And keep in mind, there are some great garages right here in Naperville that specialize in car maintenance. Maintaining your car would be a good investment anyway. And I know this would be changing behavior for some people, but please do try to avoid driving like a maniac. It's safer for everyone. And it saves energy too. It's the end of the presentation, so let's review. If you take away anything from the talk today, I hope you will remember these top 4 actions that have the most impact on reducing your personal carbon footprint. If you are in the market for a new vehicle, please buy a more fuel-efficient one. If not, focus on your home. Seal up the leaks and check your insulation. When it's time to replace major appliances, buy the most efficient unit you can afford. Finally, if you don't think you will ever be able to find the time to do any of these things, or if you have implemented these recommendations and want to do more, you should consider enrolling in Naperville's Renewable Energy Program. The link to enroll is right on our website. Thank you very much for your time. And thank you even more if you tell a friend about how easy it can be to be effectively green.